All right, well, I think we got everybody. We'll go ahead and call Morris County special call meeting, June 28, 2019. This is the last meeting of the year. Just to finish up some last-minute business. And we've got executive session. I want to go ahead and go into executive session. Randy's got to go. So we can have a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go ahead and call on their guest, our new 911 Director, Chris Freeman. Come on up.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good, you?
Just want to take a few minutes and talk to y'all. I sent the commissioners and the judge a report on the radio condition the other day. Did y'all have a chance to look at that? So we kind of know what I'm talking about? I've been
Yes.
driving the county for the past couple of days, week or so, trying to figure out where the towers are, different equipment, get a list of the equipment, what we got, what we don't got, where our issues kind of are. A couple of things that I found. Our tower at the school doesn't have a light on it. That's a pretty major issue. We've been working all week with the electrician from the county to try to fix that. I've notified the FAA, so we're not going to get fined for it or anything. They know it. They've sent out the notices that need to happen, but the fines can be pretty stiff for that. We've got the burnt wires replaced. There may be some parts or pieces that we have to order. We're still kind of doing some troubleshooting on that. We don't really know what's going on with it, but had some other things today that I couldn't get back out there, but Randy's been helping me with that pretty well. The second portion is kind of what I found with the sheriff's radio issues. In digging into it, some of the reasons that we don't have, and I've gotten several information, has been a lot of reading old files, looking through old emails, talking to Jackson Purchase a little bit, some of the other responders in the county, what's happened over the past years as far as where we've gotten in the situation that we are. Apparently, we had some equipment on a tower on Cedar Knob that belonged to a Christian radio station. We were a guest on that tower, and it was interfering with their signal as well, so they dropped us from the top of the tower down to around 150, 200 feet or so, and then the tree line became interference. Well, that equipment was moved off of that tower, so that microwave link is no longer in the southern portion of the county. So I don't know when your radio trouble started, but that's probably going to be a large portion of that. And then... Okay, that's kind of what I was figuring. So what that microwave link does is allow you access back to that repeater and that equipment at the high school in Draftonville. So if you don't have that extension, you can't get back there. So there's no extension to allow them to get back. So that's part of that problem. And then the other part of the problem is in looking at the equipment inside the tower, there's a link fail on one of the microwave switches. So one of the other microwave cards in that is not working as well. So even when you plug the other equipment back up, still the link fails there. The equipment's so old, finding parts for that's probably not going to happen. So all we really have there is that tower with the 80-watt repeater, so you can only go as far as that 300-foot tower. Pushing that 80 watts will allow you to go. I don't have an exact cost on fixing that yet, but in the past experience that I have, we done a system like that where I came from with 6 microwave links and a repeater, and it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $90,000. You're going to need about half that, so $50,000 to fix that problem. And I talked to the sheriff extensively about that, but that's something we need to get on fairly quickly. And that's not covered in any of the grants that we've gotten. The grants that I was able to apply for were only grants that cover stuff inside the 911 center. So that's kind of where we're at on finding what's going on with the sheriff's radio. Any questions about anything in the report? I put a couple of suitable tower sites if we can't go back to that particular tower site. As far as suitability, they may not be the best, but it gets us somewhere. And then we can always move and adjust to try to find a better spot. We may have to rent tower space from another tower. There's approximately 30 structures in this county that the FCC lists. Have to contact those companies in that area and see who would be willing to lease the space and let us go on there. Or work out something with some of the water towers that are there. They may not be high enough, but at least that's something we could probably do cheaply and at least try it out and move the equipment to where we need it to be. But you have to figure out something on that particular area.
All right. Y'all got any questions? Any suggestions?
Is it something I can reappropriate monies in my budget if we do get that exact cost? Is it something that I can ask for in a budget appropriation if we can take it out of ours?
I don't see why. I mean, we're discussing it now, so I mean, if that's an option that's on the table, I don't see why we couldn't.
Obviously, we budgeted for the building, the 50 by 72 building. We sold surplus all year last year for that. That's a $45,000 line. We definitely need the building, but this is priority number one. If we cannot find the money anywhere else, then that should be most of it. It may be even a little bit cheaper, probably going to land at that 40, 45. If everything goes the way it is for 2 microwave spots and 1 repeater, it should be close to that number. Like I say, I don't want to give up my building if we definitely need it, but we need the radio worse.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Is that something you can get bids on in the meantime?
Sure. I mean, this is just what I found out just running around. I wanted to do it on my own to kind of see what I found without an outsider looking in, without any influence on it. You know, hey, this has been a problem here, this has been a problem here. I just wanted to see what I could find and kind of go from there, and that's what I've seen. So, and we'll pursue bids. How many do we need to get? I mean, that's something I guess probably the sheriff
However many
needs
that
to
comes
do
in,
since
yeah,
it's
we would
coming out of
just,
his.
we would advertise for
Okay.
bids. Once we get it, definitely know
Sure.
what we need, then we can bid it, and then just whatever we get, come in.
That tower was a disaster back 3 or 4 years ago when we did the tower study, remember, for the same issues.
Yeah.
The owners were supposed to redo a bunch of the grounding, it was improperly grounded and everything else.
Which tower are you talking about? The one in Cedar Knob? Okay, yeah. It's kind of in a low-lying area anyway. You can't see it. It's diagonally behind Fast Eddie's a little bit more further south and probably west than South Edge, or Fast Eddie's, and you can't see it at all from 68. You can't see it till you get right up on it. And then when you drop it down to that 200-foot level, the antennas are looking right in the trees. So, I mean, really can't get out with a digital radio from there. So it's low anyway, and then dropping it down made it lower, so it made it useless.
The light on the tower, is that going to get fixed, or
Yeah.
is it?
We're working on it. I had some training on a policy that we implemented at the 911
Okay.
center today, so I didn't get a chance to get back out there, but we'll get it fixed. We're working with we're good for the next 2 weeks. Notice the airman is out, that the light is out on the tower, so there's an alert on it. We're not going to get fined. It's going to take finding parts to fix it and finding the part that we need to order to fix it. So it's a lot of guesswork with a service person on the phone, and then they send you the part, so.
And I know we discussed what practices, I guess, were done in the past, where the sheriff's department would send somebody out just to get eyes on the light to make sure that it was actually in operation. It might be something, looking in the future, while we go through all this, to put a camera on it.
Yeah.
So then that way dispatch can have a direct feed,
Not working, yeah.
and it doesn't send your guys out there just to look at a light bulb.
Right.
Yeah, but there was a log up until around 2015, and some of the things that I found going through where there were actually deputies going out checking it. Yep, there's a light out there. It's working at this time, and it's a requirement that you have some sort of monitoring to see when that light's out. But from the looks of what I seen in the cabinet, there was a lot of things melted and a lot of things, wires burnt. So it may have been a lightning strike through some of the recent stuff. It may have been a lightning strike from a while back. We don't know.
And there
But,
was, wasn't there a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was a lightning strike?
Same place.
Yeah, the tower out at the,
Graftonville Tower was?
okay.
There's one at Coronado and got the air conditioning unit and some other stuff in
Which one? This tower or the one at the school? Yeah.
That's the one we're talking about, isn't it?
The
One at
school one, yeah.
school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically our main tower, so it's the one we're going to talk. There's another one on Aaron Road or something like that, but it's one of the microwave sites. It doesn't hold anything other than that microwave link and some other stuff like that. But the main tower the sheriff talking about is the one at the school.
Okay.
Is two enough? Two microwave sites enough, or should we?
So whatever we had before, so we'll have quoted whatever we had and should be enough. Need to dig into exactly what we had, and I'll help you write the proposal for whatever we need for the advertisement, so.
Okay, so you're gonna move with putting
I'll
bids
go ahead and
out?
bid it out then.
Okay,
Just get it done.
all right. Let us know if something happens where we can't get the light up, and we'll
Sure.
go to Plan B.
Yep, we're good for the next 2 weeks or so. Like I say, that it's extended out. I thought we were somewhere we were gonna have to notify every day, but she put a 2-week notice on it, so I don't have to do anything. Call her when it's fixed, and they'll take the notice off of it, so surely it won't take that long to get fixed.
I deal with cell phone tower lights that are out, and some of them have been out 3, 4, 5 months.
Oh, yeah.
As long as the FAA is aware.
Yeah, you're good as long as you're notified, so. We've
And
got
this-
that major hurdle crossed, so very good. There's no fine gonna come in, so we're all right.
And this tower that we're talking about at the school, the county owns the tower.
Everything that I found in going through the paperwork at the 911 center, that tower is registered to the FCC, to the Fiscal Court. And Judge Miller was the one whose name is actually on it, so probably need to get an update to that. But yes, the Fiscal Court owns that tower.
Do towers typically have the fencing around it, control? I mean, there's got to be some
Most
type
do,
of.
that one doesn't. I seen where there was a grant attempted a couple times to more harden that particular spot. So it has a lock on the door, has a fence around the generator, but generally nowadays you see fence around the actual guy wires and then fence around the actual building and a lock on the building as well as cameras. So it's something that if we're going to put money into bettering our radio system, we need to protect it a little bit better too. So.
Yeah, okay. I know the sanitation plant was vandalized, and I think there was a partial fence, but people could just literally have access to it, and that was a big issue.
Yeah, the only thing that's fenced off is access to that generator, and that's better than nothing because you can't get to the generator and disconnect it where the tower wouldn't run if the electric went out. So that's protected, but the actual perimeter around it to keep people away from the building, no, you can walk right up to the door.
Okay.
That theory back then was that this school property, the gates locked at the road.
All right.
Anything
Anything else? All right.
All right.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Under old business, we've got annual administrative code approval. One of the things that we need to change in this is you get that? Talk about that, the law that just passed.
Yeah, the procurement amount is raised to 30 instead of 20. In our admin code, it's 30. I mean, in 20, so we need to reflect
That.
the state statute.
You know, they mentioned, and I was gonna say something about that. I'm sure you probably went through the same thing, and there was that question was asked. So do we want to have it where it just says whatever the state statute says, or
Yeah,
an
that way if
amount?
it changes in the future.
Yeah, then that way we don't
yeah.
have to mess with it. Okay.
We can do like
That's what I was-
pursuant to whatever
Whatever the statute is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, Jason and I were just reviewing the 68.005, the KRS that talks about the admin code.
Yeah.
And this is what section 2 says, so that we all kind of know how this works. The fiscal court shall review the county administrative code annually during the month of June, and maybe by 2/3 majority of the entire fiscal court amend the county administrative code at that time. The county judge executive may at other times prepare and submit amendments to the code for approval of a majority of the fiscal court. So I was mistaken. I thought we had to pass that every year as a new ordinance, but all we have to do is review it, and then if you want to make an amendment, then this is the time where you all would make an amendment. I know Judge and I have talked, and with the changing of the treasurer's office and all of that going on, we haven't sat down and did any amendments that we'd like to present, so we plan on doing that a little later, but I think at least this, for now, this one would be one that we can make an amendment to.
The thing is, though, you gotta have two readings when you change the administrative code, because it's by ordinance. So, just a cost measure for publication, so.
So we can do the first reading and then advertise and the 16th, do the second reading?
But what I was just saying to save money on publication is if you know that there are other changes you want to make, get those as soon as possible. That way we can just do it all
Do
at
them all
once.
at one.
Yeah.
I think the reason why this one is more significant is because if we go into procurement process, if our admin code says 20,000, then that's what's going to supersede. We obviously know we do have some changes to the admin code, but trying to find time over the past month.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
and
the only time that's going to come up is even if you leave it right now, the only time that's going to be an issue is if you've got something that you would like to buy that's somewhere between 20 and 30,000. So,
I think we could have the amendments, possibly first reading at the next meeting on Tuesday, if we're
Yeah.
diligent in the next couple days. And then, so that could be the first reading and the second reading and the second,
16.
on the 16th. And
Yeah.
then that, I don't see it being an issue with that number being
Yeah.
20 now and then 30 when if that amendment passes. Does that make sense?
yeah, because you can make changes in between the first and
So
second
that-
reading.
Yeah.
You're not just this one, you're saying you will come up with all of the other ones that you want
Yeah.
as
Yes.
well.
We've
Yes.
got,
But don't you have something in here from this one that it was changed that you had to have it like 48 hours before or something like that?
What? Well, we won't do anything today. That's,
Yeah,
that-
but
yeah.
I'm saying the second is our next meeting. You
Not,
might
not for a
have-
first reading, right?
Not
Oh, for
Yeah.
first reading, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
Okay.
so then the second reading.
Second reading.
So we would take all
Okay.
the amendments on the next Tuesday, then we would publicize those amendments, and then they have the second reading at the 16th meeting.
Okay.
And then that way we get them all done without having to do one now.
We're not voting on it
publicize
until the second
Right.
reading, so
Yeah.
the
yeah,
48 hour
there's
thing
there's
doesn't-
several changes in the code that I know we've seen that makes it more efficient for the staff. So if you think we can get that,
Yeah. I can work on it, this weekend.
all right? Any other questions about it? All right. New business, board appointments. Kevin Vaughn is my appointment to East Marshall Fire District. So we need a motion for Kevin Vaughn. Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Building inspector agreement, there were no suggestions of changes for the building inspector agreement.
Move we accept it.
Is there a
as
second? Is
presented.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then Judge Imes from Callaway County had reached out to me and Wendy, and you got the interlocal agreement that we prepared. Basically, several folks had spoken highly on Wendy and basically said that if Callaway County wants to have somebody to come over and help them with some issues that they've got within their road department. So that was the gist of the conversation, and spoke with Wendy, and she was willing to help them out. So we Jason drafted an interlocal agreement for us. Callaway County, Judge Imes, he signed it. Just the process, if we approved this interlocal agreement, then it would go to DLG. DLG would obviously have to approve it. And then we're also going to make sure that retirement board approves it so that it's not pinching spiking, because then that would fall back on the county. So those are the two things that, for approval, that we would obviously look for. But do you want to read that? Do you got a copy?
Is there a non-poaching,
Do what?
is there a non-poaching, stealing her?
Oh.
Is there a?
If they
It
could,
does say
if they
shall.
could, they would.
It says something about, I mentioned that to him when I
We
saw
told
him.
him, we warned him.
Section
At-
5
At
says,
all times, Greer shall be considered an employee of, at all times and going forward. I don't know if it should be something.
For a length of time not to exceed.
okay, so this is an agreement, the gist of it is, or the length of it is 12 months following the adoption. Any party may terminate this agreement at any time for any reason by providing 7 days advance written notice. There's no legal entity created under this agreement. No real or personal property will be acquired by any of the parties under this agreement. And Greer agrees to provide advising and consulting services to the Callaway County Road Department not to exceed an average of 32 hours for every 2-week pay period. The cap on hours may be modified during the course of this agreement by written assent of all parties. There is no minimum compensation due, and Greer is only entitled to compensation for actual hours worked. Greer and the Callaway County Fiscal Court both acknowledge that Greer's services to the Callaway County Road Department shall be done in a manner so that all of Greer's duties with the Marshall County Road Department are fulfilled as usual. At all times, Greer shall be considered an employee of the Marshall County Fiscal Court. In exchange for Greer's advising and consulting services, the Callaway County Road Department, the Callaway County Fiscal Court shall pay over to the Marshall County Fiscal Court when invoiced the compensation due Greer for those services. The method of compensation is as follows. Greer shall keep detailed logs of types of tasks and hours worked for the services she provides to the Callaway County Road Department. Greer may round up to the nearest 1/12th hour when calculating hours worked. Greer shall submit logs to the Marshall County Treasurer. The Treasurer shall then invoice the Callaway County Fiscal Court accordingly for the hours worked at the rate of $43.44 per hour, which includes FICA, CERS retirement, and other required contributions. Upon receipt of payment from the Callaway County Fiscal Court, the Treasurer shall then pay over to Greer the compensation due her and shall also make required contributions on her behalf, including but not limited to FICA and CERS retirement. Callaway County Fiscal Court shall have the right to inspect and receive copies of the logs that Greer submits to the Treasurer. This agreement shall not be assigned in whole or in part without the written consent of all the parties.
That's the interlocal agreement that the two counties came up with. Again, I can't state enough over the past 4 years, the asset that Wendy has been and over the 25 years, 28 years.
Who's counting, right?
At least he
But,
called you the right name. That's,
Yeah.
that's a big
Yeah.
deal.
He knows my name by now.
But no, a true asset. I mean, and that this is a testament to not only just your knowledge, but your professionalism. And folks all the way up to District 1 commented on, actually recommended Wendy. So that's a testament to her, and I'm proud to be a part of it and see that they're reaching out to work with us so that you can better them. So that's the goal.
Just one meeting with them, I think you already saved them $20,000, right?
Quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. So I would need a motion for approval to sign this, and then we would send this to DLG and
So
the
moved.
Retirement Board.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Appropriation transfer.
There's several budget appropriation transfers. They're all departmental transfers for the end of the fiscal year.
Need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to payment of bills.
Bills, Judge.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I wanted to just update on everybody the bail in jail today. Eddie ran around, our sheriff ran around with a smile on his face, locking half of us up. But in about 5 hours, the Parks Director out there doing the bail and jail managed to raise close to $14,000. So there were times, there were about 15 of us in there. I think there was even a blade brought in, hacksaw blade brought in to saw some pipes off. So it was actually a good time. Folks participated, and it was for a good cause. So we'll be looking forward to doing that in the future. So.
And also, I want to wish everyone a happy new fiscal year.
Did you get us a present?
Is there a party?
No.
that we-
Is this
Yeah.
New Year?
Your eve?
Is this the
That's Sunday.
Sunday is fiscal year eve.
at your house?
Yeah, come on over.
You got a ball that drops and all that stuff.
That's cash.
Springer
gift on Tuesday.
If there's nothing else, need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.